The following video presentation will provide you with a basic understanding of the process and costs associated when a participating governmental unit, or PGU, withdraws from the system. If a PGU elects to withdraw from the system, the Maryland State Retirement Agency will first need to determine 1. Whether any assets can be transferred out of the state system to the new successor plan on behalf of the withdrawing employees, and 2. Whether a withdrawal liability needs to be assessed against the PGU to fund liabilities remaining in the state system. In most cases, a withdrawal liability will be due to the state system, and its actuary will calculate the liability and the annual payments due. State law makes it clear that the legislative body of any PGU must take formal action to withdraw from participation in the state system, and it may only withdraw from the state system at the end of any fiscal year. In addition, the law provides that employees must be given the option to either stay in their current state system or elect to transfer to the new successor plan. Retirees and vested employees remain in the state system, as well as the assets allocated by the actuary to pay their retirement benefits. As a withdrawn participating employer, you will be required to continue employer contributions and any applicable surcharge payments for your employees who elect to remain in the state system. To proceed with a withdrawal, the PGU must execute the following 8 steps. First, the PGU must submit a request to the agency for an estimate of what it will cost to prepare the preliminary valuation by the state system's actuary. After receiving the cost estimate, the participating employer must submit a written request and approval for the state system's actuary to perform a preliminary valuation, preferably 4 to 8 months prior to withdrawal date. The request should include the names, gender, and Social Security numbers of the members the actuary should assume are withdrawing and transferring to the new plan. Unless you state otherwise, the actuary will assume all members are transferring. Membership data on file with the actuary will be the basis for the preliminary valuation. The calculation is preliminary because it is based on the assumptions made regarding the current employees who will stay in the state system and those who will leave. A final valuation is performed after the withdrawal takes place using the actual data regarding employees who chose to stay or transfer. The PGU considering withdrawal pays for the cost estimate for withdrawal, the withdrawal calculation, and the final valuation. The PGU will need to obtain approval of its withdrawal from the state system, preferably 3 to 6 months prior to withdrawal date, with an absolute deadline of May 1st prior to the end of the fiscal year. Once the decision is made by the legislative body to withdraw, each employee must be given the opportunity and time to make an educated election to stay in the state system or transfer to the new successor plan. It is a one-time irrevocable election. Employees must be given at least 2 weeks to consider the 2 plans and make a decision. The participating employer must submit to the retirement agency no later than May 15th all required documents to ensure the timely withdrawal of all employees who elect to leave the state system. On or before May 15th, the retirement agency must receive a transfer election form properly completed, signed, and notarized for all employees of the governmental unit who have indicated through the irrevocable election process described in Step 5 their decision to remain in the state system or transfer to the successor plan. On or about June 1st, the participating employer and the state system will enter into a written working withdrawal agreement, which sets forth a preliminary calculation of the cost of withdrawal and the responsibilities of the participating employer. A final withdrawal agreement will be prepared several months after the effective date of participation upon the completion of the final valuation report. A final valuation will be performed by the actuary several months after the effective date of participation to adjust and finalize the cost of participation. The participating employer will also be responsible for the cost of that final valuation. In summary, If a governmental unit determines that it does not wish to continue participation in the state system, the unit would be required to go through a formal withdrawal process. The governmental unit's employees, who are members of the state system at that time, would be eligible to remain in the state system. Therefore, the governmental unit would continue to have a financial obligation to those employees and the state system for the costs of their continued participation.